Now, the South African government is expected to receive the remains of freedom fighters who passed away in exile in Zimbabwe and Zambia. Now, these remains are set to arrive at the Waterkloof Air Force Base in Pretoria tomorrow. Let's get more details. We speak to ANC NEC member and deputy chairperson of the ANC Archives Subcommittee, Ms. Nocawe Mafu. Thank you so much for your time. This is such a huge moment, 30 years into our democracy, and listening to the acting president talking about this earlier on, it is quite a significant milestone.
Look, it gives goosebumps. It's something that it's historical. It's something that we take a moment and actually think that we are here now. This is happening. This is Heritage Month. By the way, happy Heritage.
Happy Heritage Day as well. Thank you.
And government chose a theme this year to say we honor and remember our heroes and heroines that laid down their lives for our freedom. And because exactly of this project that you are talking about, you are so right, Bongi, where the human remains are arriving tomorrow in Waterkloof. They are coming from Zambia and Zimbabwe. And the reason why we are dealing with those two countries now, I don't know if you know, around 2020, the president, when he was addressing the State of the Nation address, made a commitment that Advocate Nocawe, Mam Florence Moposho, and Basil February will be coming back to the country to be buried at home. Unfortunately, COVID happened, so that project was then put on hold. But what then Cabinet did, fortunately for us, was to pass a policy in around March in 2021 on this, because we then felt that as the ANC, it must not only be about the three leadership that we talk about. We've got a lot of our comrades that are outside. We're talking about plus minus 1,000. So we then agreed that we start with Zambia and Zimbabwe because the three comrades that the president spoke about are in these two countries. So Comrade Nocawe and Mam Florence were in Zambia, but Comrade Basil February was in Zimbabwe. So they are arriving tomorrow, but they are not arriving alone. We are bringing plus minus 40 with them to come into the country. So there will be a service at Waterkloof to actually welcome them, but the president of the country will be talking to the country to launch this project on Friday, the 27th. Because it is not going to end with this that are bringing. It's going to be a project that is going to take probably about 5 years. Because families have been crying. Relatives have been crying. Us as South Africans, we also need to pay tribute to these heroes that have actually gone out of the country to go and fight for us. So they are coming back.
It also speaks to the length of time it also takes to finalize such a project and the mammoth task that it is. Let's talk about that part, because it can't be easy at all.
No, it's not. Look, luckily we've got a task team at the NPA called the Missing Task Teams, which we have been doing a brilliant job around this, because you would know, Bongiwe, that there were those that have come in even before these ones that we are talking about now. Provinces have been repatriating, but in bits and pieces. But now we want to do it in big. That's why we are bringing a big number. And what happens is that the NPA goes in there, the missing persons task team, they map the graves, but also you have to look for families, you have to inform family members, you have to take them through the process of understanding that this is going to happen. So what has happened is that the government of the day have taken families to Zimbabwe and to Zambia, so that when the exhumations happened, they are there. They are able to actually witness, and the rituals that as families you would want to do have been done, because some would want to have, traditional leaders, some would want to have church people. That has been done. Now they are arriving in the country, but when they get into the country, we still have to do DNAs. So that would probably take a month or so, but in that moment, what we want to do as the African National Congress is to make sure that we do memorial lectures and we tell the people who are these people. why we did this project. So we will do that, and in the process, so once the DNA are done and results are out, we then take them to their provinces, and the reburials takes place. And you must remember, Bongo, it can't end there, because we then have to memorialize. And we have to make sure that at the end there is restitution at the same time. Some of these people don't even have birth certificates, they don't have death certificates. And some family members would want probably to do certain things. So it's a long process. It's a project that might take about more than 5 years. And the families, some of them are very impatient, because now that this has been told is happening, they would want to see their, people coming in, but it's going to take time. So each group that comes might take probably just a month to bring them in, and then do the DNAs, then do the reburials, and then another group. So it might be a 3-month cycle, but we are, as the African National Congress, we are very clear to say this has to happen. This is important for the ANC, this is important for the renewal and the rebuilding of the African National Congress.
Now then, what happens when the DNAs match and you talk about the reburials in different provinces? Does this become the issue of provinces, or do the families then have a say of what happens in that process on?
The families have a say. That's why we took them to the countries where these exhumations were happening. Remember, what happens is that the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture and the Department of Military Veterans and Defense are the ones that are leading departments in this issue. And what then happens is that families would have a say on what happens with their remains once they are released to them. So tomorrow, when they arrive in Waterkloof, the families will be there. We had agreed as the ANC that even though government had said 2 must go, but on Friday, if they can bring more than 2, like 5, because some families are big and they would want to witness this historic moment, we had said yes, they can bring about 5, as long as we know that the 2 government will take care of them, but the other 3, they can come on their own. We don't want to miss this for anyone, because this is something that some people never thought it would happen in their lifetime. Nobody would have been thought that we would be able to do this, but it's happening. And I think as South Africans, we need to be very proud.
And I see tomorrow, the program, there's a service in the morning, but it seems like it's going to take the whole day, as we're possibly expecting that in the evening,
yes.
Afternoon into the evening, you may then receive some of the remains or all of them.
Yes, tomorrow, because what happens is that we are very grateful to the Department of Defense, because they've been very helpful. Their aircraft is the one that will be going to the 2 countries to bring the bodies. And we are very grateful to the defense, because they will then be the ones there in Waterkloof that would actually be saluting them. Because remember now, these are the heroes of the country. But the president then on Friday would then roll out the whole program and explain, because this now is a program that is just not about what is happening tomorrow. It's a program that is going to take place for the entire of this term of the 5 years and beyond. Because to bring about 1,000 human remains is not an easy thing. And remember, in the process, you have to deal with the emotions of the families. You have to deal with the emotions of the comrades themselves, who now are being taken back to what happened when they were in exile. So it's something that is doing a lot in terms of cohesion, social cohesion of the country, the healing process, the unity of the country. I think this, if it handled well, and the education with it, it can go a long way in actually saying, as South Africans, we are here now, we've come very far. And the young people that don't know about the time that there were people in exile would get an opportunity now to be able to understand where we are coming from and how did we arrive in this freedom.
Quite a critical moment in our country's history, and we will, of course, be monitoring the developments even tomorrow as well for the viewers, and they will then be able to see this particular process unfold here on SABC News as well. That was the ANC NSC member and Deputy Chairperson of the ANC Archive Subcommittee, Nocawe Mafu. Thank you so much for your time.